You're welcome back to the show. Very soon I'll be telling you about how the first day for President Akufo-Addo went. But his government has rejected claims by former President John Mahama's office that an agreement has been reached allowing Mr. Mahama to keep his cantonment official residence as his retirement home. The residence is a cluster of 3 bungalows. Government's reaction comes after the former communications minister, Edward Omane-Boamah, claimed in a statement on Sunday that ex-President Mahama had been given the green light to occupy the residence under controversy. But spokesperson of the new government side of the transition team, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, said there was a request from the President John Mahama's office asking for permission to keep the residence, but a decision had not yet been reached.
Conversation, and that following that conversation, the former president would like to state that he wishes to have, with great respect, that is a request.
Absolutely.
Now, that request was made when that request was made, it has been, and again with respect, there are no timelines as to when this must be decided and responded to. Those discussions have been going on, and as I'm saying to you, those discussions have been going on in the interest of the country. We have sought to do this very magnanimously, even in parts where we are unhappy with some things. We've been very magnanimous and gentle about it because we do not want to create unnecessary tension as part of this transition.
Right.
And as soon as possible, a decision will be communicated, a decision on this request. So my only intention is to make this correction. There is no such agreement. There is a request, as you have rightly read, and that request will be responded to.
Are you privy to what was agreed between, or the conversation between Osafo Mafo and Julius Debra, as is referenced in that request letter?
Yes, the request is what is stated in the letter.
So it was just a formal expression of the conversation that was had?
That is what is contained in this letter.
Okay. So per the information that you're giving us, the second paragraph of Dr. Omane-Boamah's statement, which says the decision and agreement on the place of residence of the office for the former president was formally communicated to the new administration, is wrong.
Again, Inshira, that statement by Ms. Omane-Boamah does not tell us who made that decision. Because, again, if you read through the lines, it says a decision was made and communicated to us. So, decision by who exactly?
Okay. In the meantime...
The fact that we have is that a request has been made. And I do know that a response will be given.
That is Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah there with Inshura Ado earlier on the Super Morning Show. In the sharp rebuttal, however, Communications Minister Edward Omane-Boamah, who was also been speaking on this particular matter, says there may have been a turnaround in the decision or the supposed decision that was made earlier.
I do not expect that every discussion, every decision that takes place between our 2 leaders of the joint transition team will be known to us at all times.
But we must know it.
I am adding quickly.
Yes, Doctor.
That if there has been a change of mind, there is nothing wrong in communicating that change of mind.
But the spokesperson of the transition team, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, did say that a decision has not been reached. So it cannot be about a change of mind. But it leads me to ask, why that particular property? Why the property?
Let me quickly also get back to the fact that the spokesperson of the transition team has spoken. I also spoke to the head of the former government side of the transition team. And so I'm saying that perhaps going forward, it will be important for us and for you to engage the 2 leaders of the transition team to appreciate exactly what happened. And if you had a combined effect of this letter, which I'm given you the reference number, and I've already given how even the preamble to this letter came about, you will have a better appreciation of the processes that I took place.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, if there has been a change of mind, why not? The only thing that does not change is God.
Okay. Is it true?
A change of mind. Let that be communicated, and I believe the necessary steps will be taken.
Okay. Dr. Maniwaba, is it true that the former president had initially wanted to buy the property?
It's absolutely false.
That is Dr. Omane Boama, former communications minister there, also speaking on that particular matter. Leader of the pressure group Occupy Ghana, Sankuma, has agreed that the president has to vacate the residence since his continuous occupation flies in the face of the law. He was also speaking on the back of this particular matter on the Super Morning Show.
There is no law that designates a building as presidential or vice presidential residence. It gets that designation on account of its use. So even if the president was using 10 houses, all of those must be vacated before the 6th. That is the law. It is shall. But you know the problem we have? Both our parliament and our executive are disregarding the Transition Act in a way that is untoward and is unhealthy. This is not the only breach of it. The same Transition Act demanded the swearing in of the incoming speaker 48 hours before the handover. Parliament ignored it and went into the midnight drama again. When are lawmakers going to obey the laws that they pass? And what gives them the moral or legal right to demand that the rest of us should obey the law and, for instance, drive on the right-hand side of the road when they are breaching the law? That those premises should have been vacated before the time. Listen, Parliament and on majority that's right. Parliament did not designate that office as one to be given to the president. In fact, Parliament had no power to do that because Parliament doesn't give out residences. It could agree on what should happen. 2, the residence, there could have been no agreement before the swearing in. I mean, you are referred to Section 10. I'll refer you to Section 20 of CA6, which states the agents of government who can bind government. It doesn't include members of an incoming government before the government is in office. So the Facebook post that refers to an agreement is terrible. It is not the law. There could not have been a legally binding agreement on the people of Ghana. And any such agreement in any event would have been terribly in breach of Section 10. Can we simply obey the law and not care whose ox is God? Now then we can deal with Parliament and Parliament telling us that although they had agreed that henceforth would only give rent, they listened to the pleas of some senior citizens. I guess each of those citizens has 1 million votes each, or pays more taxes than the rest of us, or the people walking in the streets. So when those people intervened, they went back to change it to what is going on.
Sankoma is a legal practitioner, adding his voice to that. While we've been speaking to some people on the street, and some of them are agreeing to the assertion that's been shared, of course, by some of the pundits. They're saying that former President Mahama should rescind his decision to keep his cantonment home as part of his retirement package. Watch this.
As now, he's not the president of Ghana, so he can decide he can decide what he wants. The state to give him, as a former president, you have your own thing that you be given to. So
the president comes with something or with a whole lot of things, and so when your term of office is done, you are supposed to leave all those things that come with it. So to me, I think it's unacceptable. It's not right.
I don't see anything wrong with that, provided what the state will give him will be up to that level. If it will not cause the state where he is now, will not cause the state more than what they are supposed to give him, then I think if he's there, there's nothing wrong.
I mean, that premises was meant for actually the vice president. So if you were the vice president, you occupy that house, you still insisted in maintaining that house as a president, and you are now out of government. You hand over to the government, so it's the incoming government that have to decide where to relocate you and what to give you, but you don't choose this is what I want.
Because when you are going, you'll be given ex gratia, and that one, and the state has stated what you are to be given. You can't desire what you want. When you are a president, you didn't state that. Like if a president is going, you should have his or her desire. It depends on the state to give him what they want to give him, not he will ask for what he wants. For now, he's no more a president in Ghana, so he can't decide for the Ghana.
And that is what voices on the street say about this particular situation. Well, of course, some Ghanaians have also been sharing mixed feelings, of course, about the issue of plagiarism. Yesterday, President Akufo-Addo's inaugural, Saturday, his inaugural speech, of course, has apparently elements that people believe are plagiarized versions, and they've got videos to prove. The speech has been reported on local and international media platforms and pointed out that the use of excerpt of some speeches of former U.S. president that were not appropriately sourced. Well, over the weekend, that speech has sparked intense conversation on social media about speech writers and those speech writers and their posts, whether or not they should be maintained or relieved of their post. A cross-section of Ghanaians told Joy News that their own divergent views on this incident.
Well, for me personally, I see nothing wrong with somebody copying something. The world is all about copy. If you want to learn, you look at somebody's footsteps to learn. Well, the copy is too direct, but I see nothing wrong with it because, like I said, Ghana always try to copy what we do from like outside to what we do. Somewhere America is like this. American people do this, and we are also doing that. It's simply like the same, but I see nothing wrong with it. Honestly, I see nothing wrong with it.
Well, to talk of that, that wasn't really a good thing to do because being a president, you can't pick someone's aspect, someone's part of speech and put it in your own, and it goes 100%. We don't do that. Something should have been done. It should have been edited. That particular side should have been edited. I mean, looking at the foreigners, also thinking of how Ghanaians are really going in terms of democracy. If we really want to stand up for who we are, then I think copying someone's words or language, no, shouldn't really be our style. We should have our real culture, our real language. I mean, that particular aspect should have been edited.
Okay, personally, I don't see a problem with it because it's normal for each and everyone to quote someone. We do it every day, and on Facebook, on most of the quotes we write, status, everything, most of them are from other people. So if he made a speech, it's not as if everything he said was from someone and he didn't quote it. There's nothing wrong with it. Exactly. If, let's say, as I was saying before, when we are doing our thesis, we quote other people and we reference them at the back of our thesis. That is normal. You get it. But for him to say his speech, then he will go like, he said this, then he will reference President Buhari, 2011, then he will continue. It doesn't make sense. So personally, I don't see anything wrong with what he said.
I heard of it, even though I didn't watch it live. I was on campus, so I saw the news on social media. That was on Twitter. I think it was a big error, a grave one, on the part of whoever wrote the speech. Even if he took some parts from someone else's speech, he should have at least provided acknowledgement to the owner or author of those sections of the speech. That's the thing I think. But then, from what I saw, it wasn't that something really intense or something really serious. But the movie just blew it out of proportions. Because the same thing happened in the US. Trump's wife used a speech that was given by Obama's wife. Even though it wasn't the whole speech, but just parts of it. But then it calmed down after a while, so I don't think it's that much of a big issue.
Oh, for me, he did the best. He did his best. Because if he copied someone and he knows that no, the place that the country that he copied, they are working well, or their country is booming. So why not? He have to. Because if we are suffering here, and let me say Cote d'Ivoire are free in their economy, then the person who is here that doesn't work well in the economy, you have to take him off. So for me, it's good that he's copied someone, because the more you copy people, the more you learn.
Well, that's what people on the street think. Going forward, we would, subject this to a bit of analysis from communication experts and whether or not the speech writers should be relieved of their post. This is the Pulse.